Я считаю, что Третья мировая будет обязательно. Здесь есть плохая новость и хорошая новость. Плохая новость заключается в том, что она будет обязательно и будет при нашей жизни, если завтра, не дай бог, кирпич на голову не упадет. Ну, то есть в какой-то краткосрочной перспективе. Хорошая новость заключается в том, что мы в ней участвовать не будем. Будем наблюдать ее со стороны. Мировая война обязательно грянет, и грянет она, конечно, на Ближнем Востоке.
Shalom. I would like to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Bahashem Rakakwadash. I would like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all you sincere Akim, pushing this word across the four corners of the world. Just another news update through the spirit, the power, and the vibration of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh. And as you just heard and saw from this previous video, a woman from Russia by the name of Margarita Simeon. And she's the editor-in-chief for RT, or Russia Today. And throughout that segment, she was posed with one of the biggest questions within modern times. Will there be a World War III? And her response was, I think that World War III will certainly happen. And she went on to say how there's bad news and good news about this. And how the bad news is it will happen without fail and in our lifetime. And how it will happen in the near future. And things were going good until she messed up and stated how the good news is that we, referring to the Russians, won't participate in it. And how they will be observing from the sidelines, which is biblically inaccurate. And these are the results when you have the weaker vessel, referring to the woman, having a license to speak for a long period of time. And that's because it will bring forth confusion. And a major sign or token of Yahweh's second coming and the end of this world, referring to the end of Esau's age or empire or rulership, is definitely World War III, which we are within the beginning stages of. And that takes me right to the book of Luke, the 21st chapter and the 31st verse. So likewise, ye, when ye see these things come to pass, and those things are end time prophecies, which are indicators that we are at the door of Yahweh's second debut. And according to the book of Habakkuk, the second chapter, he goes into through the spirit about that vision which is yet for appointed time. And we are definitely within the appointed time of the last days global confrontation, with all these different nations being into opposition toward one another. So likewise, ye, when ye see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of Yahweh is nigh at hand. And the reason why I stated that this woman, Margarita Simeon, was biblically inaccurate about saying how Russia would not participate within this third world war and how they would be observing from the sidelines, because according to the Holy Scriptures, and if you are in the spirit measuring the times diligently in itself, you would definitely see how Russia plays a significant role within end time events. Hence the downfall of America, which is biblically codified as Babylon the Great. And Russia is biblically codified as Gog and Magog. And that takes me right to Ezekiel, the 38th chapter and the first verse. And the word of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh came unto me saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. So these different names like Gog, Magog, Meshach, Tubal were actual descendants of Japhet, who was one of the three sons of Noah. And due to Esau Edom's vile nature, which they are partaking into their left-hand blessing, which is the sword, as is stated within the book of Psalm, the 73rd chapter, how violence covered them as a garment. So therefore they moved these Japhetic people out from their lands, like Gog, Magog, Meshach, and Tubal. And just to prove that, this is the book of Job 24 verse 1. Why, seeing times are not hidden from the Almighty, do they that know him not see his days? And this is beginning with the main workers of iniquity, referring to the tabernacle of Esau Edom. And that's referring to the hierarchy of Esau Edom, who are the main culprits of all these past world wars and all of this global opposition, confusion, and wickedness going on in today's time. So why seeing times are not hidden from the Almighty, do they that know him not see his days? And according to the book of Proverbs, the 15th chapter and the 3rd verse, it goes into about the eyes of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. And here's the point. Some remove the landmarks, they violently take away flocks and feed thereof. So that landmass that we know within today's time as Russia was once that landmass of those Japhetic people. And this has always been Esau's MO on how he handles global affairs. All right, so back in Ezekiel 38:3, it says, "And say, thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal." And this is referring to the modern day Russians that we constantly see within the news concerning conflict between America and Russia. Verse 4, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords." So this biblical prophecy is in total contrast to what this woman, Margarita Simeon, stated about Russia would not participate in World War III. But according to the book of Jeremiah, the 50th chapter and the 9th verse, Russia is going to be one of those main countries that's going to put themselves in array, which goes into battle formation against Babylon, aka America. Because within that verse, it stated how I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. And that north country is definitely referring to Russia. So right here, when you read the book of Ezekiel 38 verse 4, it says, "And I," referring to the Heavenly Father Yahweh through his unbegotten Son Yahushai, "will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws." And once you look up that word turn right here within the blue letter, and it says right here, to return, turn back, figuratively of human relations. And once you scroll down, it says to bring back, to restore, refresh, repair. And the point right here I want to get, to bring back to mind, which means that Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai are going to restore or turn back or bring back to mind a modern day Russia into that spirit of the USSR, which is the United Socialist Soviet Republic. And they were made up of 15 republics, and the USSR was a great force to be reckoned with. So that's the type of vibration that Yahweh Yahushai unto these Russians within today's time. And we are witnessing Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai are magnifying their power by the fulfillment of their word, aka biblical prophecy within this thing that we call life. And that takes me right to Ecclesiasticus, the 18th chapter and the 1st verse. "He that liveth forever hath created all things in general. The Lord only is righteous, and there is none other but he." Verse 3, "Who governeth the world with the palm of his hand, and all things obey his will. For he is the king of all, by his power dividing holy things among them from profane." And all things goes into his creation, including humanity, which takes me right to Proverbs 21 verse 1. "The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will." And a part of Yahweh Yahushai's will is having a tendency to fulfill their words via biblical prophecies. So we can hear within today's time, these different global leaders, they might vocalize about not going into a third world war. Yeah, that might sound all good in that. But according to Proverbs 20 and 24, a man's going is of the Lord Yahweh Yahushai. So the Lord is going to work on the minds of these different kings around the world by the angels and to assemble them into going into World War III. It's no way getting around that. And that takes me to Isaiah 13 verse 4. "The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua of hosts mustered the hosts of the battle. So that tumultuous noise is referring to those nuclear missiles, which is why you see within today's time, all these different nations are bragging about their nuclear capability. And when those nuclear missiles are going to hit their designated targets, it's going to be a very boisterous noise. And according to the book of Haggai, the 2nd chapter and the 6th verse, it goes into how the Heavenly Father Yahweh will shake the heavens and the earth and the sea and the dry land, and also shake all nations. And the only device within modern times that can be able to cause the earth to reel to and fro like a drunkard can only be those intercontinental ballistic missiles. So a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together, the Lord of hosts mustered the hosts of the battle. And hence the word mustered, because Yahweh Yahushua are going to do like a roll call. They're going to summon up all these different nations and gather them to the Middle East for that great battle, which is the battle of Armageddon. Verse 5, they come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord Yahweh Yahushua in the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. And that's referring to the whole landmass of America. And as Elder Apostle Tahar stated, the landmass of America is going to be like a burnt Tesla. And you best believe Russia would be one of those main figures to partake within the downfall of America. And that takes me right to Revelation 20 verse 7. And when 1,000 years are expired, Satan should be loosed out of his prison. And that 1,000 years expired is referring to when we as the Israelites got taken down during the Dark Ages. And that's when the physical counterpart of Satan, referring to the tabernacle of Esau Edom, due to the Renaissance period or the rebirth age. And that time period was like a rebirth of the Edomite nation. That's when they came back on top concerning rulership. And the biblical Edomites, who are the so-called Caucasian race, are still loose out of their prison, which is why it goes into the book of Malachi, the 1st chapter, how Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. And eventually the Heavenly Father Yahweh is going to throw them down by his right arm, which is Yahushua. Verse 8, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the 4 quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, which is that final battle of judgment, World War III. And it says, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about in the beloved city, and fire came down from Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua out of heaven and devoured them. So going back again to the point of this Russian woman by the name of Margarita Simeon stated how she certainly believes World War III will happen, which is true. And she also stated it will happen in the near future within our lifetime, which is also true. But she went off by stating how the Russians won't participate in it. Like they're going to be on the sidelines. But according to the will of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua, he's going to use that bear, referring to the Russians, to be a major figure to take down America, Babylon the Great. And this is Isaiah 46:10, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel should stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So a part of Yahweh Yahushua's counsel, or their advice or instructions, is about fulfilling biblical prophecies. The Heavenly Father Yahweh, through his unbegotten Son Yahushua, are definitely about their word. As it's stated within the book of Numbers, how the Most High is not a man that he should lie. So that concludes the lesson through the Spirit, the last days global confrontation, which is why we are in the midst of the biblical prophecy talking about rumors of wars. And that word rumor goes into a circulating story, which further explains why we see constantly within the news of these different disputes, quarrels, tension, conflicts going on between these different global leaders. Whether they know or not, they are paving their respective nation unto their third woe, which is World War III. And Russia, along with their allies, and also America's allies will turn against America and also the state of Israel very soon. So, Aparatazat, you all was edified. You all stay strong. Keep pushing forward. Shalom.